What's up everyone, Michael here with WorkForAvocados, hitting you with another surf skate trick tip. You can do this on a normal board as well. This is one of my favorite things to do at the park. I don't quite know the name of it, so I'm gonna call it a roll out, backside, lay back slide. There's a couple things that you need to know how to do this, and I think this is gonna be one of your new favorite tricks at the park. Before we get started, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I do videos all about surfing, skating, and being stoked on the small stuff. This trick is basically a combination of a lot of basic things all linked together. So what you're doing, you're rolling out, you're grabbing the coping, you're doing the slide, and then you're rolling back in. I'd say the hardest part about this trick is getting low enough to be able to grab the coping. Once you start learning how to do it, it feels super natural, but the first few times you do it, it might be a bit difficult. And I'd say the second hardest part is gonna be rolling back in. The first thing you're gonna wanna learn how to do, you're gonna wanna learn how to roll out of a ramp. Now, you don't have to get a ton of air, you don't have to ollie out, you just have to be able to clear the coping at least a couple inches to be able to just consistently roll out and keep your speed.
The next thing you want to build up to is practice getting low as you reach the top of the ramp and have your trailing hand behind you and just practice having it slide up the top of the transition on the coping.
The other thing that's huge is that you don't want to fall on your hand. You almost just want to slap it. So it's a lot less stress on your shoulders and your elbows. You really just want to come up, tap it, and then slide with it at the same time. The second thing you want to know how to do is a backside slide. You can practice these on flat ground. You're also going to be doing this trick on flat ground.
Another thing that might help you get built up for this trick is finding a pole or some kind of sign where you can grab a hold of it and practice doing the slide. It kind of gives you the feeling of shifting your weight off of that pivot motion.
Another thing you can practice working on is once you air out, immediately try to do that backside slide so you can start getting the motion of immediately turning in after you air out. Something that really helps me, something with more coping, coping that really pops out is gonna help you a lot. I always grab it thumb side up because that really gives you some leverage to where you can run around like this. And that's the ideal motion for it. You don't ever have to move your hand. As you can see, it's all just in the same spot.
What did you do wrong?
So the timing of this trick definitely is a big part of it, because the more flary you want to do it, you are going to try to air out a little bit more, because as you air out more, you can get into that slide easier. So it's a combination of finding the speed. You want to find the right arch, because you're still carving into the slide essentially. If you can imagine just a backside slide on the ramp, it's just an ultra extended version of that, just with a roller. So we have this pocket, and it's not super steep, but I think it's gonna be flat enough where I can actually put my hand and catch myself. That's the real thing. You wanna be able to, that's the real thing. You wanna be able to catch yourself on something. I think a mellow bank is just not enough steepness to get the real feeling of trying to learn this trick, but I think something like this would be perfect for it. So the only thing is about a spot like this is that you're really not gonna get the feeling of practicing over that coping, but you can definitely put weight on your tail and get the feeling and kind of the general movement of it before you move on to the two. Some things that I really like about this trick is this is one of the best linking tricks that you can do. You come out of it, it's super stylish. You have more speed than you came in with, so it's great to just come out afterwards. I love doing a huge backside hit right afterwards, nice backside slash grind, and it just keeps the combo going really well. It's super fun in pools.
All right, guys, this is the last step. We have the roll in. It's gonna be a mini manual that you do before you reach the transition. And after you put weight on your tail to lift up the front of the board, You want half to 2/3 of your board over the transition before you start shifting weight to your front foot. And as you stomp down, you're gonna feel the back wheels catch on the coping a little bit. It's gonna be a little bit jarring, and the best way to prepare for this is to suck your back foot up a little bit and to bend your knees. From there, it's very similar to a normal drop-in, and you're just gonna roll away.
So as you can see on a bigger ramp, it's actually way easier. I was able to really float into that slide and come back in easier. The 2, it's possible. It's a bit jerky. You can do it if you want to start to get comfortable with it. But really around the 3 to the 4 foot range where I enjoy doing these the most.
In this example, notice as I come out into the slide that my back foot, I'm very much on my toes at the tail. This is not only going to provide me better control during the slide, but it's going to put me in a more advantageous position to start that roll in, as I don't have to move my foot around anymore. I start the slide, and as I'm coming out of the arch motion into the straightaway, that's when I'm going to start putting weight down on my back foot to start that roll in process, and I'm pulling in with my left hand that's on the coping. Experimenting with the arch is going to take some time. In this example, I went way too far with the arch, and in this one here, this was way too narrow of an arch.
So one thing to definitely note, as you can see on this bigger 4 foot ramp, it's very important to have more of your board forward before you initiate that drop in. If you go in too early, you're gonna come into a rock. Steeper ramps are gonna have a bit more of a wobble to it because they have more steepness. So it's not gonna be easy as kind of just forcing yourself into it. You really gotta wait until that back wheel comes close and then drop in. Because if you don't, you could get hung up, and then that's not gonna be fun on these bigger ramps. One last thing I did forget to mention too, after you start getting comfortable with these, one thing that really helps me is it's natural to wanna look down. It's okay when you're trying to grab the coping to like start to figure out how it works, but when you initiate that drop in, you really wanna be looking forward. Because it's like a regular drop in, you know? If you're looking down too much, there's a higher chance that you can fall forward, and that's not something you want. You want to look everyone in the eye as you're doing this trick and being like, yeah, WorkForAvocados taught me this trick and you should subscribe to his channel. So that's another reason you want to do it. Well, that's going to wrap it up for me, guys. I have gotten super sweaty before work, but it's worth it. Love showing you guys new tricks. Really trying to be more consistent with putting content out. I'm going to catch a few laps around the park. Be sure to leave a comment below on some tricks that you'd like to see in the next video, and I'll do my best to get them out. Y'all stay stoked, surfing, skating, and being stoked on the small stuff.